There are so many decks that are floating around right now, it's actually kind of crazy. Don't beg 30% of you that have not smashed the ever-living crap out of that subscribe button. Smash it so you guys don't miss out on more awesome content. Hi, Edit Robbie here. We actually got a nice little pie chart here off of an overall representation of kind of how the metagame is progressing for the very early stages here for Dune format. So I figured we'd go ahead and include this in the video, talking about some more roguish decks. But Purely and Mathemech are looking like they are taking over the largest representation spots for the format, which shouldn't be too much of a shocker. Honestly, Tier Elements is holding on for dear the format. Runic, Labyrinth, Branded, you're pretty aware of some of these decks. Vanquish Soul has had a very struggling time out here, but it's kind of putting itself together. Kashtira, Exosister, and Super Heavy Samurai, some of the former big competitors out here, are also regaining some footing on the format. Earth Good Stuff, Unchained, Altergeist, and Rescue Ace. Yes, Rescue Ace has also stepped back into the light here of the format, showcasing that this deck is something that you do need to be aware of and that you do need to know how to play against it, because the new support actually did hit, and a lot of people are kind of looking around going, you know, like, what's going on here? Like, why is this deck so good right now? Well, I mean, a special summon from the deck is always going to be pretty good. We also had Dragon Link, Flounder, Lyrilisk, Adding Nister, Virtual World, Zombie, Pendulum Magician, Scareclaw, Dinosaur, Salamand, Great Sky Striker, Shadal, Kali Yuga Turbo, Good Stuff, Spiral, Thunder Dragons, and Endymion Hero, Synchro, Good Stuff, Mana, Diem, and Minkanko. Yeah, you should be very familiar with everything that's kind of showcased on this little chart here, because a majority of the options that still continue to kind of show up here, even if it's not like a super competitive deck, it is still something scary that can, you know, ruin a person's day. All right, we're going to pass on over so you can have an idea of what's going on in the format. The first deck we're going to actually be looking at here is basically Super Heavy Samurai with Revolution Synchron and the rest of the Synchro bunch out here. Now, the thing that makes this deck actually really cool, in my opinion, is just how much you can step through, how busted the Cleefort Link Monster actually is. I really do like a lot of the things that you'll be able to develop with this deck in terms of the combo lines. Cyber's Gadget also being another card that's going to add to this deck and make things incredibly more powerful. But it goes to show, like, the longevity of the Synchro package of Super Heavy Samurai is actually quite strong in terms of combo ability. And once we kind of see this unfold here in the TCG, we'll see, you know, if Naturia Beast ends up being one of the stick-arounds here for this, or if we'll see other, you know, evolutions to this deck. Next up here, we actually have the power of Unchained. Wow. You know, I have not seen a lot of Unchained variants out here actually kind of taking off, but this is one of the ones that I saw and I was like, wow, you know, players are actually trying out the combinations of this. This is actually playing an Evil Twin package in it as well. To be honest with you, having access to the Evil Twin stuff actually seems like a nice little cute idea in terms of synergy. Having that little extra boost for the deck, I think, could open up some pretty good doors. Now, obviously, you're going to be focusing on, you know, certain discard outlets and things like that. I see that we are playing 2 Thrust to be able to toggle into essentially anything that we need for this deck. But a majority of this, you're going to be controlling a lot of the opponent's field with the Unchained stuff. And I think that's actually kind of cool at the end of the day, just how good the resource management for this deck actually kind of feels. Next up here we have Dogmatica Invoked actually did well. I have not seen this deck be successful in forever. I actually kind of forgot that Invoked actually existed, but this build does a massive callback all the way back to, we're still playing Maximus in here. Wow. Players are really holding on to some of these old ideas. I will say, though, that in the current era, Wind is still incredibly good. It's going to come down to how can the rest of the advantage tree actually kind of work in terms of, snowballing advantage and so forth. I also see here we got Kurikaras inside. We're sliding a Small World, which is kind of a little bit of an interesting tech choice in this deck. You do have enough targets that you'll be able to bridge the gap and actually get to probably one of your better resources overall, but this does open up the door once again to some pretty cool ideas. I like this. Next up here, we have Super Heavy Samurai Grass Look Screener with Necro Face. Now, we're not going to be able to really play this ourselves, but this is a good showcase of how you can take all of these different little engines, how amazing the Super Heavy Samurai skills actually are for this deck, and then you can go ahead and toggle in, free advantage, free universal pendulum scales, Grass Look Screener with a whole zombie package. Yeah, if you're fully resolving this, I think your opponent's not going to have a good time, per se. Just looking at this, though, your extra deck, you're going to be stepping through a lot of the... Wow, we're actually playing the DD Fusion down there as well. That is amazing to me. There's so many little moving pieces in this deck that I think are really, really cool. It definitely goes to show you, the cool, crazy ideas that you can actually make work out here. Next up is Altergeist. Now, for everything that I've seen for Altergeist, most of the builds are just moving in 2 copies of the new level 3 tuner monster. It does give you access to Herald, which is actually really cool. Melazek plus level 3 tuner, making a free negate through Herald. Not exactly something I thought I would see with this deck anytime soon, but that's actually incredibly cool. I see that we're playing a lot of one-of-hand traps, which I think is fine. We are playing the 1-for-1. 1-for-1 into Melazek is pretty good. You still also have Pukuri in here. Pukuri getting the ability to toggle up to set up larger boards for you, I think is going to be really good. Once again, do not underestimate, the quick power of a free ASAP Hextia that you can set up. I see we're also playing the Rock that you can activate turn 1 for this deck. Ah, man. Control has never really looked much better, in my personal opinion. This deck is going to annoy somebody. Oh, look, we have Adamancipator, good stuff. So this is a clear example of why Block Dragon and Smoke Grenade are incredibly busted cards. The entire life purpose of this deck is you're going to toggle up, you're going to actually make the power tool, and then you're actually, I kid you not, you're going to be able to Smoke Grenade equip, pop a card from your opponent, while still doing full Earth Vernal Sith combo. Yes, you are playing Super Heavy Samurai cards to toggle up through the Vernal Sith cards and then make power tool look at your opponent's hand. Your entire purpose is to end on Naturia, rip a card out of your opponent's hand that you think is going to be an issue, and then you're kind of off to the races at that. Once again, do not underestimate what a good combo deck will be able to do. Players will genuinely be very upset when they get paralyzed against this deck and they're like, what am I supposed to do? Well, the answer is, unfortunately, nothing. Next up here we have some Cyber Dragons. Wow, once again, I'm being blindsided by these really cool variants this week. Cyber Dragon actually playing, what is that, the new duality. I see that we are playing Cybernetic Horizon in here. We are playing a Buster. Oh, man. I see Power Tool Braver Dragon with the Smoke Grenade. Not only can this deck do full Cyber Dragon combo, it can actually also hand rip your opponent because Smoke Grenade and all of the rest of the stuff, the Auroradon combo. I think it's kind of cool to see the options that you can now do with Cyber Dragons because I don't think a lot of players would have tried all of the different options and things out here. But looking at this in terms of ideas coming together, you've got a lot of moving parts in this deck. Looking at the rest of this, though, the Light and Dark support in this, I think, is actually a very, very nice touch. Also, the Clockwork Knights being free real estate to punish the opponent also is going to be very nice. Next up is Mana Diem. Oh boy, so we are playing the new synchro down here. You can think IB 2 or 3.0 at this stage for allowing this deck what would be more combo ability in terms of things. Now, you got to remember, Mana Diem with the field spell is going to allow you to revive a tuner essentially once you pop it off, and then you're doing full combo, and then you reverse engineer yourself into full Scareclaw combo at that point, and then you just kind of go ahead and do your thing. Basically, in terms of combo lines, this deck is going to be a pretty scary monster. I can't think of a lot of players that are going to be too well versed in knowing where the choke points are in this deck just yet, and I think that we're going to continue to see that. Basically having, you know, Scareclaw and Mana Diem be functional with each other in terms of like Scareclaw Link 1, allowing this deck to just reverse engineer itself into full combo, is very, very good. I don't have anything else really too much to say about this. Deck looks very straightforward. And then we also have Raid Raptor Super Heavy Samurai. Come on, man. How many of these ideas are we going to pull together here? You have Raid Raptors with Super Heavy Samurai with Sacred Crane of all things. And you know why you're playing the Sacred Crane? Free draw power. All right, I believe that's the one when special summon you draw a free card. Your entire this deck is just Kelly King Yuga turbo on the opponent's turn. That's it. That is your entire purpose. And then you stun your opponent for a whole turn. You're off to the races. You can make infinity in this deck too. This is we've really come a long way. Once again, this is what I'm talking about, where you see all of these different ideas kind of coming together here, and then you kind of take a step back and you're like, wow, you know, I can't believe that this is actually the thing that's working right now. And yeah, I think this is, once again, really, really cool. You're really seeing the workout here for this light and dark support. And we also have another Unchained list, but this one is playing, I see Labyrinth cards in here. So we're playing a very small Labyrinthy package just to be able to set up and do things, which is kind of interesting. So Unchained stuff's going to have synergy with the destruction pops. I believe you're locked into Fiend, which means you'll be... It's kind of interesting. I like that. So that is everything that we had for today. What do you guys think about some of these cool lists? Please leave a comment down below, tell me what you guys think, and I'll see your beautiful faces back here later in the day, guys. Peace out. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.